Hi everybody, back again with another Hot Toys figure video. If you watched my last video that I posted, I mentioned that I was going through my detox shelf by shelf, and if there's any figures on the shelf that I was looking at that particular time that's been updated, or it's a new figure, that would be the next video that I'll be doing. And this was the one that came up next. It's my Terminators. Throughout the years I have had all the Terminators that have been released by Hot Toys, but these are the only three that I've got left now. I've just pimped one out a little bit more, as you can probably recognise over on the left hand side, but the three that I've got left are this one here, which is the very first Terminator figure that Hot Toys released, and I just love this figure. I don't know what it is about it, but I think it's awesome. It's just a figure that I will never sell. And I've pimped him out a little bit with some extra weapons, but I'll talk about that in a little while. Next to him we have the latest Hot Toys Terminator that was released. This is the battle damage version. It's a DX. I can't remember what DX number it is. I think it's DX13. Correct me if I'm wrong. And next to him we have the Terminator Genesis figure that doesn't have a lot of love with a lot of collectors out there. It's not exactly accurate. I mean, I would have loved, I think I mentioned it when I've done a video of this guy in the past, if they'd done, because they've given him two head sculpts, but if they'd made one of the head sculpts giving him the grey highlights in his hair, it would have been a lot better. But it's a great figure and I'm proud to have him in my collection. So without further ado, we'll go over the figures one by one and I'll give you my thoughts on them. So we'll start off first with this guy here. Okay, here we have here we have the original Terminator that was released quite a few years ago now. All this guy came with was the shotgun that you see in his hand here, the handgun, and also he came with a box of roses, and he also come with an endoskeleton arm, I think, if I remember rightly. It's been a while since I've got the extras out for this guy. But what I've done with this one is I've added some of the, I think it's the DX10 Terminator that was released, which is the cleaner version of the DX Terminators. I mean, the other one is the one you're going to see in a minute. But with that one, you got the grenade bandolier that you see over his shoulder, and he also came with this, which is the melee gun, and the ammo pack that came with it. So I thought you can't have a Terminator in your collection without having the melee gun. So I went out and bought an extra one of those, and if I spin him round, hopefully he won't fall over. Also the grenade gun that he had. So all these parts are from the, I'm sure it's the DX10. And I did have him, as I said, but I sold him. The reason being, I didn't want too many different types of Terminator in my collection. And I preferred the look of this Terminator to the DX10. Yes, the head sculpt isn't brilliant on this one, but I think it's a pretty good likeness to Arnie. You can see who it is. The head sculpt on the DX10 version, although it's very good, to me it just looked a little bit too young for Arnie at that time, which is why I didn't really like it that much, and I preferred this one because it's an older sort of head sculpt. A lot of people will probably disagree with me on that, which is fine. It still was a very nice piece. I mean, the leather on the clothing was, I think it was more real leather than this one. But I just like the overall look of this figure, and I thought, well, you know, I need a little bit extra money, so I sold the DX10 and just bought the extra weapons and just pimped this guy out with them. And I think he looks pretty good. And this figure came out, I'm trying to think now, must be a good 6-7 years ago, maybe even longer. And for the time, it's a very good piece. It's probably the best Arnie figure that was released around that time. Obviously, as things have changed and the technology's better now for sculpting and all that sort of thing, the figures are now improved quite dramatically. But it's still a great figure to have in your collection, and it's one that I will always cherish and have in my collection. So I'll just give you a little sort of 360 of the guy. I might at some point buy a 1/6 scale motorbike. There's a lot of collectors out there have done that. I'm just trying to find the right one, really. I keep going down to Toys R Us, checking out their selection there to see if one is good enough for this figure, but I haven't found one yet. But yeah, I love this figure. It's very easy to pose as well, this guy. He's got very supple joints. The clothing doesn't hinder him either, which is really nice. So yeah, that's my pimped out T800. We'll now put a pause in here and we'll take a look at the battle damage version. Okay, here we have the battle damage version. This is, well, in my opinion anyway, the best Terminator released by Hot Toys. Sculpting on it is superb. The head sculpt is brilliant. The blood effects, you can see the endoskeleton skull there behind the skin, and the same on the chest, damage on the chest there. This guy comes with a lot of accessories as well. Comes with a separate head sculpt, which I've got down here. I have done a video on this, so look back and check it out. It does have the purse system. As you can see, you take the head bit off and you can move the eyes as well. And I believe you can. I think this one does light up if I remember rightly. Yep, there you go. There's the battery compartment, which I've taken all the batteries out. And the eye does light up, which is really nice. This is the same that you had on the DX10. He did have that feature as well. But the head sculpts, I think, on this one are much better. And I wanted to have a battle damaged version of a Terminator in my collection. And this is the one that I opted to keep. I did have the police shootout version as well, but I sold him. And the tailoring on this is superb. It does come with another jacket as well, where the arm is all damaged, and you can swap this arm out. The arm here that's holding the grenade launcher gun. You can swap that arm out and have a battle damaged arm as well, if you want to have that look. And I say he's got the damage on the chest. Really nice detailing, again by Hot Toys. Some of these parts have been reused from the DX10, and he got a couple of, I've just added another pistol there to his holster, or his belt. He comes with this handgun, and he also comes with this machine gun on the back, or assault rifle, assuming it's an M16 of some sort. I am planning on getting all the weapons that were used with the previous Hot Toys release Terminators and just adding them to the display. So I will be doing that at some point, because there's a couple of really nice pieces that I would like to have, like the handgun with the laser sighting, and a couple of the other shotguns that he had. So I will be getting them at a later stage. But this, all in all, hands down for me, the best Terminator out there. Does look like Arnie. Awesome job by Hot Toys. And if you haven't got any Terminators in your collection and you need to get one, then I would highly recommend this one. Just looks really awesome in your collection. And an all-round top figure. So well done, Hot Toys. Don't know if they'll be releasing any more Type Terminators. I don't think he's making any more films. So chances are there probably won't be any more. So this is probably about as good as you're going to get. But obviously with Hot Toys, they like to take the money from everybody. So they could rehash one and give you one with everything. But you never know. I doubt it. I think this will be the last one. So we'll now move on to the final Terminator in my collection, which is the one from the Genesis movie. Okay, here we have Arnie from Terminator Genesis. As I briefly mentioned, people seem to be hating this figure. I don't know why. It's a good figure. It's a good likeness to Arnie. I won't take the shades off because they're a bugger to put back on. But here's the alternate head sculpt. Okay, yes, I do agree. He should have had the white highlights in the hair for the age. That's something Hot Toys missed on. But I'm sure if you're a pretty decent painter, you could probably do it yourself. But this is the alternate head sculpt with a bit of battle damage on it, which is very nice. Doesn't have the PERS system on this one. It's not a DX figure. It's just a standard Hot Toys release. But tailoring on it is very, very good indeed. Can't fault the tailoring. It's a little bit dusty. I will be dusting them, trust me. This isn't the base that come with it. I believe this is the base from the John Connor Final Battle version that Hot Toys released quite a few years ago. And I just had him standing on it. It's an actual destroyed Terminator figure, you can see there on the base. And I've got Arnie standing up on it, looking down on it, slightly. It doesn't come with a huge amount of accessories, this figure, just a couple of extra hands and this shotgun, which is a very nice looking shotgun. Moving on round to the back. Yeah, you can see a little bit of dust there. Doesn't matter how careful... bollocks, there he goes. Doesn't matter how careful you are with these figures. Hold on, just put a pause in here and put him back on his stand. Okay, sorry about that. It's a little bit of a technical fault there. But as I was saying, it doesn't matter how careful you are with your figures in your detolfs. Dust will still get in. You can buy some special little bits of rubber that you can put down the gaps that you get with a detolf, but it'll still get the dust coming in there. So my top tip is, I've got 4 detolfs at the moment, and what I tend to do is 1 week I do 1 detolf, another week another, and so on and so on. So each detolf is getting cleaned every 4 weeks or so. So it keeps the dust down to a minimum. But you are going to get dust on your figures, so do be prepared for that. Anyway, I'm digressing. This figure for me, it represents the final stage really in the Terminator saga. For me, I haven't got one from the original movie. I probably won't bother. I did have them in the past, but they were really great figures. But as I said, there's just too many in my collection. I might do at a later stage, maybe get the police shootout version again, just so I've got one from all the movies. But I don't know yet. It's not a priority for me at the moment. So it's nice you get 2 head sculpts of this figure. And that is Arnold Schwarzenegger there. That's a pretty good likeness. But as I say, a lot of people really downing on this figure. And I think it's a really nice figure. When you get it in hand, you'll change your mind. It's very easy to pose. Yes, the film sucked. It wasn't a very good movie. But that doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't go out and get the figure just because the movie was crap. That's not why I collect these figures. I've got loads of figures in my collection for movies that I hated. but I buy the figures because I like the look of them. I've been slated for that by some collectors in the past, which is fair enough. That's the way you want to feel. That's how you think. Then that's down to you. But I don't buy a figure just because I love the movie and pass on another really awesome figure because the movie was crap. G.I. Joe is one in particular. Both movies were terrible, but the actual characters in them are really nice. So, yeah, that's my Terminator collection at the moment. I probably won't get any more, as I say. So I've virtually finished on that line now. I'd love to get a decent Sarah Connor, but there isn't one out there. The original one they released wasn't all that good, head sculpt wise, and then they did, and they released another version with the rooted hair, which is the disguised one. It was actually the T1000 dressed up as Sarah Connor, but again, the head sculpt on that wasn't very good at all. So I'm hoping that maybe sometime down throughout the years they might release a decent Sarah Connor, but I doubt it. So I'll put another pause in here and we'll take a final look at all three together. So there you have it, 3 awesome Terminator figures all together. I say all I need now is a motorbike for probably this guy, and I'll be happy. The next video that's coming up, it won't be long before my mid-year update video of my collection will be coming. That'll be coming in July because I've got a week off. But the next video looking at my Detolfs is going to be an update on my kit bashed Alice from Resident Evil. I think it's the Resident Evil Extinction movie. I've just changed a few little things about her, so that'll be a very quick video on that. And then the next video up will be a new figure in my collection, which I haven't done a video on yet, and that is the Han Solo from the Force Awakens movie. So that'll be the next 2 videos, and then possibly the next one after that will be my mid-year update video. And I apologise in advance when that video comes out. The figures are very cramped in my Detolfs. It's not how I want to display them. I want to display my figures so you can actually see all the figure, and I want to have backgrounds and all that sort of thing. But because I've only got 4 Detolfs and I've got about 70-80 figures, it's impossible. So when I do get round to actually getting a bit more room to put some more Detolfs in and that sort of thing, until then all my figures are going to be cramped. It's a definite no-no for collectors. When they see my collection they cringe, but that's all I can do at the moment. I mean, I can't bear to really put my figures in storage at the moment. I want to have them all out on display. I do get quite a few people coming round to my house and having a look at my figures, which is fine. People can do that if they want to. But yeah, so I apologise in advance for the really bad posing and the bad display setup that I have. It's not a setup, it's a complete mess, but there you go. What can you do? So until my next video, as always, thanks for watching, take care, and see you soon.